What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing league racing once again. This is the second week of league racing with SRL. I actually know what SRL stands for now. It is Supreme Racing League. I don't know what the Supreme means, but maybe I'll find out for next week. But either way, here we are for the British Grand Prix. Check out the last video if you haven't seen it already. It was a very interesting, eventful Grand Prix. One where some things happen that I don't normally do. It was really odd, but hopefully this week we will have a better time of things. So we'll see how we go. I always like Britain. Coming here, racing is always great. I feel like my pace here is fairly solid, so we'll see what we can do. At this stage, this is where I would put the driver's standings for where we stand at the moment, but after this race happened is normally when I go to get the standings, but like literally 5-10 minutes after the race finished, the standings were updated, and if I was to stick the standings in now, it would include the results from this race, so that would be a big spoiler. So yeah, that is something I'm not used to, so I'll have to be on the ball next week when it comes to including the standings on time. But anyway, we're last place in the standings heading into this race. So we have a lot of work to do to get ourselves up the order. I'm going to target like, I don't know, P7, P6 in the standings. I think there's like 70 odd points to them, and I feel like with a few podiums, maybe a race win or two, we should be able to get there. But ultimately, the table doesn't matter. All that matters is really just getting a few race wins, having some fun, and having some awesome battles in the process. We've got some really quick drivers in here. New Zealand Ryan, Warden, Greek Master, HO, who has really come of age the last few months. So yeah, there's a lot of quick guys in here, and hopefully we can have some good battling. So at this stage, we are sitting P7. The first lap we did was not that great. It was a bit of a banker, and I'll be honest as well, I did 5 laps practice in the build-up to this. I've been on iRacing all week, so heading into this one, I was actually feeling like I wasn't nervous at all. I just was like, okay, we'll just take this how it goes. I'll just give it everything, and we'll see with our limited running. But I mean, so far I felt fairly confident. I just didn't get the lap in the first stint, but as we come to the end of our final run here, we have no delta, so I'm not too sure how this is going to go. We made a mistake through the mid part of the lap, getting up on the gravel trap, and that pretty much set the lap apart for us, and we weren't able to improve. It was a really good final sector there, I think best of the whole session, but the time that we lost in the first 2 sectors was just not enough to put us in a competitive position. So it's P7, 5/10 off the pace. I think New Zealand Ryan got pole position once again. The man is so consistent over the course of all the leagues that he does. I think he does 2 or 3, or he did. I'm not too sure if he's in ASR still, but yeah, Warden and Ryan are absolutely OP when it comes to their consistency. 5 red lights for the Silverstone Grand Prix, and we are underway from P7 on the grid. Let's see what we can do. We've got a few alien indicators up ahead, so hopefully we can have a nice clear race when it comes to avoiding the lag. HO losing the back end massively through turn 2 there. Very lucky for him to actually catch that slide and not lose monumental amounts of time and damage. There's a bit of a shunt for us as Chimchar went up the inside there, so that's P8 for us. It looks like he's jittering a little bit backwards and forth. Looks like the lag in this one is a little bit off, at least in this first lap, so hopefully we don't get affected by lag, and same too for everyone else in this lobby, although we have 3 very, it looks like they're laggy. They've got the alien indicators, so we'll have to give them a little bit of space as we negotiate this first lap of this British Grand Prix. But look at this setup. We're running with like 1-4 wings. I wasn't too sure what to do in terms of setup. It was a really late call, late in the day, literally 5 minutes before the lobby started. I thought, let's go with this. It'll make it easy for us to overtake in the race, so long as we can hold on in the corners, and that's exactly what we're doing now. To the outside on Poms to the win on this opening lap, and that really low downforce is really coming in clutch for us. That was an easy move there. Poms made a mistake through the S section, and that was all we needed to get the move done. So as we head on to lap 2 now, Dominator is up next. He's no slouch when it comes to these league races, so he'll be pretty tough to overtake. He goes for a lunge up the inside, a Greek Master, and yeah, that was very close between the 2 Mercedes drivers. Hopefully we can make something work here as we get a really nice run onto the start finish straight. Nothing really doing there. We'll tuck in and maybe have a dive heading into turn number 3 here. This is an overtaking spot. Not quite. Have to settle in for now. Really bad run for Dominator, and we sneak up the inside there into turn 4, and that is us up in a P5. I ran it a little bit too deep there into that corner. I locked up the inside front, and it just escorted my car a little bit too far wide into that left-hander, but we got the move done anyway, and that is us up in a P5. So, yeah, despite the poor qualifying, getting off to a bit of a slow start, turn 1 was not great for us. I think we dropped to P8 or P9. We found a couple of positions now, and we're really starting to, you know, move forward in this Grand Prix. We're really starting to have some confidence, and I was feeling pretty good. Like, the pace looks fairly solid, and we're actually overtaking cars despite the dirty air being quite bad. It was really hard to follow some cars through these high-speed corners, you know, given the really low amount of downforce that we're running, and it's just the nature of this game. The dirty air is the worst it has ever been on an F1 game ever, but it just means that you have to work so much harder to get your overtakes done, and when you do make a move stick, it's just that much more satisfying, in all honesty. But as you can see through there, going through the old turn 1 of Silverstone, you just lose quite a bit of time when you're stuck in the dirty air. That's our first corner cutting warning of the race. If you get 3-second time penalty, so hopefully that can be the last for us in this Grand Prix. It will be fairly hard to avoid corner cutting. There are a lot of spots on the track where you really need to use up all of the track width, like Cops, the old turn 1, Stowe is another one. Turn 1 is easy to cut, it's easy to run wide there as well. Just a lot of high speed corners where you need to flick it in, but Greekmaster gets a really bad run through the S's, and we're going to go around the outside heading into Stowe if we can. 5th gear, there's a bit of a touch from Greekmaster, and we had to just run wide there, but it's going to be side by side. Battle resumed as we head into the club section. We have the inside for the next left-hander, and that is job done. I had to leave a little bit of space as well on the right-hander. I wasn't sure if Greek was going to sneak up the inside once again, so I just thought I'd cover all bases and make sure that if he does go for it, that space was left, and in the end there I don't think it was close enough. So we withhold P4 for the moment. A little bit of a dummy into the pit lane there. That actually convinces HO, I believe, to dive in early for a set of medium tyres. Now at this stage I was planning on going on the medium tyres, but I also saw a little glimpse in the Twitter DMs about possibly doing a run on the soft compound tyres to finish off the race. But I didn't really read much into that, but with every passing lap I saw that the leaders weren't coming in, and then it got to a point where on lap 10 I was like, yeah, these guys they're fitting on the softs, so I thought I'd stay out as well. These guys know what they're doing, that they do practice races all week, and if I would have gone onto the medium tyres really early, I felt like that would have been the wrong strategy call. They were saying as well that the medium tyres were dead slow. Yes, they're consistent. Yes, they're viable in terms of a race tyre and getting to the end, but they are so slow. And I didn't want to be like uncompetitive versus those guys. I still wanted to be in the fight and, you know, being aggressive and being on the front foot and being able to race. So I stuck it out fairly long, 11 laps on the super soft tyres, and now we're going to have a comfortable run to the end of the race on our soft compound tyres. Guys like Greekmaster, I feel like he might run into a little bit of trouble towards the end of the race. He did stop a lap earlier. I think he stopped on like the bare minimum, like as early as you can get these tyres on. So I think he might run into quite a bit of trouble. New Zealand Ryan stayed out the extra lap with me as well, so his tyre wear will be absolutely fine to the end, and I think he rejoins in the lead, so it's game over for this race win. New Zealand Ryan has got this one in the bag. I think the gap from us to him is like 10 seconds, something like that. But in the early laps of this second stint here, we've actually got a penalty. That's great. I was saving quite a bit of fuel. My fuel got to like minus 0.2 or 3, and then yeah, we stayed out the extra lap, and I knew I had the pace. I knew I had the straight line speed, so I thought that overtaking wasn't going to be too difficult overall. So I eased into this stint, so to speak. Now I don't know if this was a mistake on my part, because I haven't really left myself many laps to get the job done, to get back on the podium, which is what I'm targeting in this race. We're not going to get second, not going to get first, but third place is definitely a target. My voice is not great. For some reason, It seems to be breaking up, so apologies about that, but we got to like lap 18, lap 19, and I thought, okay, we really need to get on with this now. Greek Master has dropped to P5, and now we got to smash past him if we can. Rich Revs standard through most of the corners through the early part of the first sector. You can see there the dirty air is not great. I was getting quite frustrated. I wasn't making the progress that I was hoping to make in this stint so far, but Greek Master has a really bad run through this third sector, and we are pretty much all over him as we go across the line to start lap 22. We might go up the inside. No. Thought about it. I really had a good think about that heading into turn 1, but it's not a great place to make an overtake, especially with the DRS coming up in a few corners time. So yeah, we'll be patient. We've got plenty of time. We've got a lot of straight line speed. We've got some fuel to burn. So let's use that now. Rich Rev, slipstream, DRS to the inside on this first of 2 DRS straights, and that is us up in a P4. Make sure we have the move covered off. It's actually P5, my apologies. And yeah, there we go. So we've got 4 laps now to chase down Neon Tree Dome, and we have HO in third on medium tyres. So originally what I thought was going to be a bit of a dud strategy, HO has pulled out a bit of an ace card here. He's got himself the track position, and with the dirty air, he's put himself in a really good position to maybe finish on the podium. But I'm going to do my best to chase him down if I can. You'll also notice I got some kind of issue with the rear wing. That was DRS, so for the foreseeable future, we don't have the option of opening the DRS. So when it comes to overtaking, that is going to be a little bit more tricky for us to make some moves here. But with the amount of battling that is going on between Neon Tree Dome and HO, is that how you pronounce your name? That was just a pure guess. I've never said your name before, but let me know in the comments if you're watching my video. But anyway, yeah, with these guys battling, I'm hoping that it's just going to open an avenue for me to slide up the inside somewhere. Neon is getting a bit tail happy through the middle sector, and with that DRS, I just wasn't able to get close enough. I needed the DRS just to get within 2 or 3 tenths, and I might have been able to get up the inside there into the third sector on that previous lap. But as the laps go on, as time wore on, like, just saw the DRS just wasn't getting fixed. And as we head on to the final lap now, it's just time to give it everything. Whatever fuel we have left, we are going to burn. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. Rich Revs, oh no, not Rich Revs yet. We're going to save the Rich Revs for the hangar straight, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. We're not going to get third today, but we might get fourth if we can force maybe a mistake or have a really good run through here. We're just cutting the corner there. We've got nothing left to lose now. This is the last lap of the Grand Prix. Rich Revs, we finally have DRS, and it's come at the final chance for us as well. So with only a few corners left to go, we'll see what we can do up against Neon Tree Dome. New Zealand Ryan has won the Grand Prix. Absolute shock horror. Never saw that one coming from a mile away. But anyway, heading into the third sector, we go really late on the brakes. I don't know why I was getting so excited. I was really just pushing on to see if I could get anywhere near Neon, but in the end, he holds on. Very consistent. 4th place for him, and for us, it is P5 and 10 points for this SRL League in our second race. So, yeah, there we go. Pretty exciting race in the end. A lot of overtaking, a lot of battling. But in the end, they're probably a little bit cautious on the strategy on my part. If I was a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more proactive, a podium was definitely on the cards. The penalty as well didn't really help us in the process. But yeah, I feel like if I would have stopped maybe a lap earlier, when Greek Master stopped on lap 10, that probably would have been a good shout for us to be really close in the fight for the podium. But that's the driver's standings. New Zealand Ryan leading on 223 points. Look at the amount of wins he's got. That is outrageous. For us, though, it is P12, so we've jumped up 8 spots on the standings. And like I said, I'll be aiming to get like P7, P6, hopefully challenging all-round cricketer and Chimchar. So all I've got to do is stay consistent, get some podiums, a couple wins, and yeah, we'll see how we are in about 10 races time. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.